Once you understand the terminology used for categorizing carbohydrates, you can use that then to categorize foods. And that's one of the activities you have to do with your study questions for this section. I'm going to go through a few of those with you so you can see how I expect you to think about this. We'll start here with milk. Milk is a pretty good one to start with because it's pretty straightforward. The type of carbohydrate in milk is lactose. And if you look back on our list for chemical terminology, lactose is a disaccharide, so we'll put milk in that box, and I'll label it specifically. Then we have to think about that in common terminology. Remember that all mono and disaccharides are simple carbohydrate. You just need to determine if it's there added or there naturally. And of course, the carbohydrate is there naturally in milk, so we're going to put it in the box labeled naturally occurring simple carbohydrate. The next one I'm going to do is apples. So apples and applesauce or just a plain apple, it has a couple different types of carbohydrates. It has fructose, that's the primary type of sugar in that apple, but it also has a significant amount of fiber. So we're going to categorize both of those. Fructose, look back at your list, and fructose is a monosaccharide, so we'll put apples in that box labeled monosaccharides, and I'll put the fructose in there. And then you bring it over to the common terminology, and again, that sugar is there naturally in that apple, so we're going to put that and label that as a naturally occurring carbohydrate. The fiber then we'll categorize separately. Fiber is a polysaccharide, so we're going to put that apple into the box labeled polysaccharides, but I'm going to specifically note that that is the fiber that we're talking about, not that fructose. Now, pretty straightforward when it comes to complex carbohydrates, this common terminology, all forms of polysaccharides are complex carbohydrate, so we're going to put that into that box. And again, I'm going to label that fiber. That specifically is what we're talking about with respect to the carbohydrate in apples. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to pick spaghetti noodles. Sometimes students will think about noodles being refined grains and think, oh, refined grains are refined or commonly simple carbohydrates. But no, that's not the case. We want to think about the actual structure of the carbohydrate in that noodles, and those are very, very rich in the carbohydrate starch. And starch is a large polysaccharide, lots of glucose linked together. So that's where we're going to put that in the box labeled polysaccharides, because it is that starch content. And again, all those polysaccharides are complex carbohydrates, so we're going to put it in the box labeled complex carbohydrate. So that's how you should go through this. This question is think about the type of carbohydrate in the food and then label it using both the chemical terminology, a way of categorizing, and common terminology. I'm going to let you do the rest. If you have questions, though, send me an email.